Hello and welcome everyone to today's class on how to trade actionable setups. In this class, I'll be talking about how do I take my entries and how to take exits. How do I manage my positions after getting into a trade. So it's not gonna be long. It's probably like 20-30 minutes video. But again, guys, what I'm gonna talk about in this video is just gonna be for educational purposes. No, there's like no financial advice. How do I trade this? This is my strategy, how I trade. So if you guys want to try that strat, make sure you guys test it with the paper trading or with some demo trading before jumping in and then getting real trades with this strat. You need to try to understand the psychology, and how this setup works. Only then you can go out and play these strats in the real time. So let's talk about what are actionable setups. Last week, guys, I introduced on Twitter that I'll be posting 3 to 4 charts every single day after market close. With the actionable setups, the best looking setups we can trade the next day. And we have been nailing all the setups pretty good. I also post trade recaps the next day. How the actionable setup went, the way we wanted it or not. So far, if you guys are following along, you can see in the free ideas channel under it, I try to post all the setups along with the recaps the next day, so you guys can use uh, these setups to play. So let's take a look, an example of how would I play the actionable setups. Taking a look at AMD here. Let's look at hourly chart. Right. So now I identified this zone, no volume. So now identify this zone as an supply here, 1 hour supply clearly. Up here I can see, let's mark it as supply zone. And then right now, so there are two ways that I would be playing this if I put an actionable setup on it. So the first one would be is I'm gonna put I'm gonna take my short entry. If 50-minute candle close below this level, then I will take my short entry, and then then we'll ride the trend. I'm gonna set an alert in this 9670 level, setting my alert, and then I'm gonna wait for my actionable setup, a trigger to hit. But trigger got hit, and then I'm gonna wait for my 50-minute candle to close below this level, this short entry level, and then I'm going to take my entry. So there are two ways. Either I'm going to take my entry right on the candle close or on the retest. Right, if the candle very close to the retest, then I do not bother taking a trade right away when the candle closed. If the candle's pretty far away from the level, and then it's also far away from the magnets at the same time. Let's say candle closing here, far from the level, and then magnets are up here. At this point, what I would wait for it to retest this level, because the thing is, if you will FOMO in here in this zone, after a candle close, and then try to take a trade, and when the magnets are far away, the levels far away, what will happen most of the time is that market will reverse on you here, and then give you a pullback. The entry that you take here, by the time price goes in, you'll be minus 20-30% on any option you take. So I would wait for price to retest this level. If it's pretty extended, then I'll take my entry right here on that retest. My stop loss would be if the next 15-minute candle closes above this short entry level, candle closed above, I'm out. Right, it's that simple. And then that 15 candle should also break the this trend too, the magnet trend. It broke and closed above. I have no interest in taking a trade, then I'm out. Right, so now moving forward, let's say, will this level be can be work again, unless the candle closed above and the next candle closing below, will the setup will work again? I would not take the setup again, because the thing is, price already gave us a one fake out, and then we know there are already buyers present in this zone. So once price gives us a fake out, my next level would be this one where price bounced off. I want price below this level. So so price won't bounce. I want price below this prior short below 50 minute candle close below. Only then I'm going to take the trade the next time. Right, same with the call side. So now, so that was the first, I would say, strat, how I would play like this actionable setup using 50-minute time frame. And the second way I would play it using supply and demand. Right, let's say there is we do not get um, the the break of this candle here. We do not get the break. Price goes sideways. Getting entry. But instead, we have marked this 30-minute supply zone, which you can also play the shorts, right? Because and price goes up here, and then that's the key level here. As we can clearly see, price is trading in this sideways range. Once price breaks out of this, where it's gonna go? It's gonna go to this 30-minute demand, and then we have this small gap to fill. Right? We have this small gap to fill. Price price breaks of 98.20. Let's say this is my call actionable zone. 15-minute long entry above, only for scalp. Right? Long entry, and price goes to supply zone. Price enter the supply up here, tagged it. And then how would I take shorts using supply zone? Most of the people, they see, trading supply and demand, but they don't know, where to put the stop loss or where to take an entry or not. So with when I trading the supply zone, so now I know this is my supply zone. This is the point I'm waiting for price to tag. Only then I can take a trade. So I'm gonna be patient after breaking this level because I know there is no real supply zone, and then there's only one supply above. So price, high chance the price go to this zone, and then we can see a rejection. Price goes there, tag the supply, and then now my stop loss would be the prior swing highs. So let's say if I'm playing zero dates or weeklies, then my stop loss would be this prior swing highs, this one, right? Because price making this clearly lower highs, right? So if trend maintained, price shouldn't go above this prior highs, and then should continue to making lower highs and then new trend. So this is where I would take my chance. I would take the shots in this area here, and then I will put my stop somewhere around here if 50-minute candle closes above this level. So again, guys, the one thing about a supply zone is, or demand zone, I would say, the stop loss should be the same. Your stop loss should be in the same time frame, the same time frame you are marking your supply and demand zone. So let's say on this one, I am using this 50-minute supply. So I'm going to use 50-minute time frame to have my stop. So if 50-minute candle closed above this prior swing high, then I'm out, right? Because even though I'm also seeing this is another good supply zone, you know so when I know if the price is breaking this level, test this level and then reject again, I don't want that. So what I would do is, in this scenario, when I know there is a dual supply zone, right above each other, at this case, what I would do is I would buy me some time in the contracts, because instead of choosing this supply zone, I would just mark a little bit more risk, only $1.50 more risk, but the reward is definitely the greater. Because let's say if it rejects here or here, we're directly gonna break this prior lows, whenever we reject this one. So my order, is pretty good on the short side. So I would mark my this prior highs as my stop loss. If 50-minute candle close above, then I'm out. So if I'm watching hourly supply, right, then I'm gonna wait for hourly candle to close above my level, and then get out of a trade. So if you're playing 50-minute, so select your con, select your expiry. um, in that sense, if you're playing hourly candles or 4 hourly candles, then you would have to play a little bit far, because hourly candle takes time to play out. Because let's say you waiting for price to close above this level, the hourly candle, but prices keep on rising higher, then you cannot afford for contracts to hold for a long time. But if you have enough time on your contracts, what happens sometimes is price go above your zone and then stays there for half an hour, and then the hourly candle close to weakest, the week, and then the price dumps. And same thing happened here the other day. uh, I'll give you a good example. This, yeah, this one, I guess. The trade that I took the other day. Yes, this one. I was trading live with the members, and I saw this setup. I even posted on Twitter. Actionable setup. This one is, I was identified this 10-minute supply here. Identified this 10-minute supply. Now let's replay a little bit. So the setup was the clear setup that I showed just now. It is the same setup. So price gap down, started making lower lows, and then what happened? Price gapped up into the supply. Price gapped up into the supply. What I'm gonna do? The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take a short, because right, 'cause this is also 1 hour supply. You can clearly see this one. Ignore this candle. Look at this. Clear base formed. Price coming back into the base in in 6:30 in the morning, and first thing I would try to take a shot. But what happened is my stop loss was is this prior highs, and then so I was using hourly supply. So if hourly candle closes above my level, I was only then gonna stop out. Took a entry 2 weeks out puts, and then what happened is price is pretty strong, and then what happened? Took a entry, but price closed above this prior highs. Hourly candle closed above this prior highs, and then my setup got invalidated because the supply didn't hold, closed above prior highs. So my setup, is actionable setup. It did not work out. But if you see the same day, I was watching that if I could get a trade, because it was very overextended from the bottom. We could see some sort of pullback coming in this name, because all the time frames, all the other names, SPY, VIX, or dollar, they were showing that they were about to reverse. So there was nothing more good setup than semis, which was already trading at the highs. So what I did then the same day is price consolidating sideways. Right, I marked this zone, this intraday zone, right? This intraday zone I marked, and then on the retest, I waited. I think SPY already bleeded all the way to the downside, but AMD was holding up. But I did not get AMD unless I got a clear signal that I can take this trade, right? So this intraday supply broke, intraday I mean support break, and then we got the retest right in the next candle right here. Got the retest, perfect reset. First we took an L, the same setup, presented, candle closed below 15-minute, retested it. This is where I entered the shorts. You would also see there's also a magnet support right here. Right, let's see, lose 5 and 8, 5 and 8 magnet support. A nice entry for shorts as long as price stays below, you know, and then back to back two red candles. I think puts went up 50 to 70%, and then target hit, and then we're out, right? So the same goes for tomorrow. Same goes for this Monday or Tuesday, whenever this happens. If this short entry below, then I'm gonna take puts. If it goes into supply, I'm gonna take short the stop loss at prior highs. So that's how I trade using supply and demand, and support and resistance. I will try to show you guys more examples on SPY. How would I play it going forward? Let's say if I put any actionable setup. Hmm, let's see if I can see any supplies. There's this one, 30-minute supply. I see two options we're gonna have on Monday to trade SPY. So the first one is, let's say price goes into this supply zone, and then it starts rejecting my stop loss, would clearly be this prior highs, you know, a week out, or 7 days or 10 days out contracts, it's not going to hurt that much, even if price, pushes past through this resistance level. So we have a good RR on the short side, and then we also have this, bear flag forming into the resistance. So if price attacks this zone, I would be happy to take puts with the stop loss at prior high. So if I'm watching a 30-minute chart, right? So with a 30-minute chart, what I would do is, if this 30-minute candle closes above this one, this prior highs, then I'll get out of my position. If not, as long as price is staying below, then there are high chances that we're going to see a sell. But again, guys, with this one, all you gotta do is have to manage your position in the meantime, because sometimes price takes a long time to dump, and then what happens is your premiums get burned on your cons. So make sure you get make sure you get enough time on your contracts, so you can catch them, so you can catch the full move, right? And then on the downside, and for a support break, this is the only key support I see, 388.50. If that breaks, then we can definitely see some serious downside on SPY. And I would mark it as TP1, TP2 actually. So this is TP1. I need this support break. So I would say shorts below only if we break this support, right? So anything above, below this is also short, valid short, but I wouldn't take short entry right here. I want price to be in supply to get a short trade. So right now I would say it's in no man's land. Either break below here or go here, or for calls, strictly 402.15. As long as price stay below 402.50, I'm not interested in going long at all. So this is the key levels that I'll be watching. That's how I would play it on Monday, using my 15-minute break and retest strat, and then my supply and demand strat, or how would I manage. So now I told you how would I take a trade using 15-minute time frame, with the levels that I give you every single day, and with the supply and demand, how do I take my entries, and how do I take my exits. So now move on to second question. How would you manage the position after getting into a trade? So to manage the position, I would simply use this 508 magnets. Very simple to use, and it's also free to use. If even if you're not a pro member in TradingView, you can still use 508 magnets. I use these are EMAs, not the regular ones. So these are EMAs. So let's say we are trading the support break. I think we only trade AMD the most in the past. So we just take an example from this, right? Um, so the thing is, let's say I have this one, three levels. So this one would be, let's say, shorts below, right? Short below this one, and then my next level would be TP1. This is my take profit level one, and then if we break TP1, then it's gonna go to further down. So how would I manage, my position in this scenario here? So once I take my position, when the 50-minute candle closed, or on the retest, right? I took my entry right here, and then now I know I took a shot. The price is below the magnets, the 5 and 8. I took my re-entry. I took a entry in a retest, and then all I gotta do is, now I know price close below this level. The next level is this one, 88, TP1. So price is just gonna go straight there, 81, because there's like no support in between. That's why we have this level mark. It's gonna go to TP1. So where TP1, I'm gonna take my first profit. Let's say if I have 10 contracts, then I would take 5 out. I would take 6 out, and then I would have remaining left in case TP1 breaks, and then we go to TP2 level. So with this, all you gotta have is 50-minute magnets on with 5 and 8. As long as price stays below this magnets, that means the trend is still to the downside. I can still hold on to my runners after after booking profits, more than half my positions in this drop, I would simply hold my runners as long as this magnets hold. So as long as this magnets hold, I'm going to take my position. Once my all level hits, let's say TP1 to TP3 hit, and the price is extended on the day, at that point, I would sell my runners. Or if, let's say, in TP2 price bounced and then 50 minute candle closed above the magnets, right? Then I will completely out with my runners, because now the trend is changed, candle closed above the magnets, right? That's only to manage the position, guys, not to take an entry, not not for anything else, just strictly to enter a play. I mean, to manage the position. So I'm gonna show you good examples on BAC. I posted the other day. Uh, So this was a key level on BAC, 15 minute, 2760. I was waiting for this level to break for a long time. And then, it did break after like 4 days, and candle closed below. And then we got a retest. We got a partial retest of this 2760 level perfectly with the magnets in play. Look, magnets in play, perfect retest, gives perfect retest entry. And the price under the magnets, all I had to do just to hold the price, as long as magnets are holding. So every single time price is trying to close above the magnets, just not succeeding, and hitting every single target right here. So TP1 hit, price consolidated sideways, candle never closed above it, every single candle closing below it, break below, retested it successfully, and then went to TP2 fast, right? So you see how the trend is formed. Once candle close below this magnet, every single time it's trying to close above it, pushes it to the downside. So I will, if you want me to explain, I can make a further video on it, how do I use magnets and manage my trades. But the thing is, in the end, guys, it's just you have to back test all this, to be perfect in this one. So what I would suggest is go back, on your charts, and then look in the 15-minute time frame or 30-minute time frame, have these magnets on the chart, and see how price reacts after breaking a certain level, after taking an entry. See how price reacting of these magnets, and then as long as this is magnets holding, there's no reason to sell. There's the only reason, guys, if you guys see me having 1000% winners, 2000% winners, or even 500%, right? That's the only way I use to see, if I should sell or not. If price is under it and I'm short, I'm not gonna sell. If price is over it and then I'm long, I'm not gonna sell it, right? So I'm just gonna ride the trend unless my level set. So see, TP1, TP2 hit, no reason to hold, to wait, because I know this is a TP, this is a good support level. Price can bounce. I'm gonna take some off at this level, right? So that's how I trade 50-minute strat and supply and demand, and that's how I manage my trade, using the magnets too. Now let's say, this 50-minute retest never happened. Instead, in the next candle in here, 50-minute candle closes above this level. 50-minute candle closes above this level, and then at that point, once I know the candle closed above, now that's a clear fake out. That's the clear bear trap here. I would completely get out of my position right away, and then book my loss, and then wait for another entry, whenever the entry presents itself. So all you gotta do is, guys, be patient. You have to be patient, because when you are using 15-minute time frame or hourly time frame, all you gotta do is have patience. Because when you looking at 5-minute chart, there's a lot of up and downs happening. I mean, look at this BAC chart, right? Look at this BAC chart. Let's say if we look at on 3-minute chart, anything, so much chaos going on in here. Candles closing above, candles closing above. You're gonna get out. Even if using 500 magnets, the trend is keep on changing on a smaller time frame. If you use 50-minute or at least 10-minute time frame, then I would say you can get much bigger place compared to following 1 minute or 3-minute chart. So 15 is a minimum I use to take my entries and exits. So that's what I recommend to use to all the new traders out there. So any more questions, guys, on my entries and exits, let me know now. Or if everything's clear, that's let me know too that if everything's clear, because I try to explain it in the simplest way possible. Mhm. And also, guys, I'll be posting this actionable setups every single day. Uh, After the market close, and then the recaps to the next day. So not hard. Again, guys, you guys can always ask questions. In the free chat, I'm always available here. In the market hours. So any setups you want me to look at, in the market hour, you can also let me know in the free chat, or any strat, or how to play an actionable setup if you are confused. How do I play it? Or let's say it's happening real time, and then you having confused what to do. You can simply ask in the chat, and then you would get a reply right away. So YouTube link. I'll post a YouTube link later on in the announcement section with this recording. Let's take a look at some of the more examples to see how would I play it. Hmm, What's what's the setup we played? Oh, the Tesla. I think we played the Tesla that day. Oh yeah, Tesla guys. I remember the Tesla trade. So Tesla trade was also pretty clear. It was easy to. So it was a clear break and retest for Tesla trade. So you all know, probably that day, when FOMC happened, we've got a big sell-off followed by, this gap up, and then, some small run up, and then price, gap down, broke this prior lows again. So I was watching Tesla. Tesla was one of the weakest name out there. When I was watching Tesla, Tesla broke this opening range. When after gapping up, price gapping up, and then made this bullish engulfing on 15 minute, and then it's breaking its lows on intraday. Very bearish sign. Very bearish sign. This is. I would always look for this kind of setups, guys. I would always look for this kind of setups where price gapping up strongly, buyers are present, you know and then it just met supply. You expect some consolidation. After consolidation, what happened? Support break, retest, coming in, right? So now the trend is changed. Now if bulls want to be in control, the low should be protected. The 50-minute opening range low should be protected. But what happened? Candle closed below, struggling it, forming this bear flag in a smaller time frame. So a very weak pattern, very weak name. So I was looking to get into a trade, but I was being very patient with it. So my level was to take a trade, was 193.90, right? Because there was also an hourly level here, because price bounced off this level again. Not this one, this one 193.90 level. And then I went on a 50-minute time frame. I waited for a candle to close below my level and then take a trade. Now let's take a look at the magnets are. Price is under the magnets, clear downtrend, checkbox one complete. And the second thing, price closed below my level, closed below my short entry level 193.90, second check one. Then the third one is I get the perfect retest. I get the perfect retest with the magnets. I take my sniper entry right here on that retest, alerted it again, guys. One more thing. Whenever you are playing break and retest, or whenever you playing supply and demand, you would get the best entries on the green candles, right? You would get the best entries on the red candles when you are playing, the long side. Let's say you are playing, you want to short the Tesla, you would have to take an entry on a green candle, so you get the best possible premium, and then you get the best possible entry near level, so your risk is much smaller comparing to take a trade uh, at on this candle close here, right, in this 50-minute candle. Instead here, that's a dollar and a half risk, right? So have that psychology, in back of your head that you would have to buy puts on the red, on the green candles when it retesting, and then you will see the then you will start to see the rejection, and then that green candle will turn red pretty soon. So that's how it works. And same with the supply zone, right? This is a supply zone. This is a supply zone, and then there's a green candles forming in green candle pushing into supply, and then I have to pull the trigger on the green candles because that is my best risk to reward possible. What's the best can happen? What's the worst can happen? Candle closing above this one, then I'm stopped out, or I'm taking a trade and then it's dumps. Definitely the risk to reward is definitely there. So I would always pull the trigger on a green candles when price in a supply zone or retesting, or vice versa, with the longs. So took an entry on the retest price, dumped. I sold somewhere around here in this goes. This was my target, initial target, my gap fill. My gap fill target hit, I sold, I think, for 40 or 50%. I was out, a quick trade in 30 minutes. So break and read, guys, pretty easy, pretty easy. Delta, did we play Delta? I think we played, yeah, we played Delta. I don't remember the entry on Delta. Should be the prior day low. I think my entry was somewhere around here because that's the only level I see. Because I know we played it last week. We played Delta early. Okay. So candle closed below this level, right? Candle closed below this level, and then I think it was that trade I took, late in the evening, late afternoon. So candle closed below my level, candle, I was like, I was looking for a swing, price closing below prior lows. So it was pretty, easy to identify that this is going to be the weak name, going forward. So candle closed below my level, and then took my entry. I think it was here. Yeah, took my entry, and then price dumped. I think it constant 30 to 40% again, guys. But the setup is still the same. You see, there's nothing changes. The name changes. Price is under the magnets, closing below key level, partial retest is there, and then just ride the trend to the downside. That easy. Right. Most of the trade you would see break and retest me, but you would, the simple as saying, you would see me playing more on break and retest on all these different names, but on spy and cues, I would mostly 90% of the time I would play supply and demand because I like to catch tops and bottoms, and I think and then we have the strat to catch the tops and bottoms most of the time. So I would also I would like to play when my risk is pretty low and my reward is pretty high, and the risk to reward would only be high when you try to catch the top and bottom. It's not easy, but once get familiar with supply and demand, once you have your good stops in place, only then you can pull the trigger. If if I know my stop is this high, then I would never attempt to be short here because I don't want my risk to be this big here, right? I want my risk to be minimal so I can take the best entries possible. That's why I wait, 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes a whole day to get into a trade. Unless I do not get my setup, and unless I do not get the best reward possible for my trade, I do not enter a trade. Right? The maximum trade that I enter in a day is like maximum 3 trades or 4 trades. Right? So if there is no setup, I'm not going to enter a trade. And then it's, I think it's easy now because now I post all the setups after looking into all these names, almost 150 names. And then I look all these names, and then I post 3 or 4 best setups out there. So it's definitely easy, just following those setups and then playing the strat that I explained today. So any more questions on how do you use this, how do you use this strategy, you know I would happy to answer more questions if you guys have. Okay. I'm looking at Bitcoin to see how it's doing. Just chop, a lot of chop. Okay, so I think that's it for today, guys. Right? And then if you guys still have any questions, you can ask in the chat, or later on when I post this video by the day end. So, and then keep an eye out for the actionable setups. I'll post it too later today with the recaps, that I can post for the Friday actionable setups. And then, we'll also try to post the spy analysis for rest of the week. So keep an eye out on for all this stuff. And then if you like it, I'll when I post, please share your reviews on it. And then if you have time, you can also share your reviews on Twitter. Um, Thanks a lot, guys, for showing up. And then I would try to make this a regular thing for you guys to do a class every other week or so. So you guys will be engaged, and then we know what's going on then in the market, right? So let's see. So next week I'll do the free charting session, and then we can do another class a week after to see where we stand, and then we'll do a one Q&A just for you guys in the month in the next month in the mid to see if you guys have any questions regarding your trades, regarding trading, maybe regarding, and it would not me talking, just be me taking questions from you and then try to answer in the best way possible. So I'm going to take my leave, guys. Thanks for again showing up. If you like it, and then please share your thoughts on Twitter and in the YouTube. So I'll be appreciate that. So have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the live trading.